say to my colleagues in the House all the time, no matter what title they have bestowed upon me, Speaker, Leader, Whip, there has been no greater honor for me than to stand on the House floor and say, I speak for the people of San Francisco. I have truly loved serving as your voice in Congress, and I've always honored the Song of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace, the anthem of our city. That is why I want you, my fellow San Franciscans, to be the first to know. I will not be seeking re-election to Congress.
So the word is out that Nancy Pelosi is out. She has just announced that she will no longer be running for Congress in 2026. She is stepping down after a nearly 40-year stint representing the people of San Francisco as their representative and the people of this country as the Speaker of the House. Nancy has had a long and illustrious career, notably becoming the first female Speaker of the House during the W. Bush administration and helping to pass the Affordable Care Act during the Obama administration. And at the height of her political career, she had been known as a strong fighter and strategist for the Democratic Party, but as of late, public opinion of her and her extended tenure in Congress has shifted.
You saw the headline. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now announced her retirement this morning. That is a very important sign that I hope that you all will delve into. Even the famous San Francisco liberal is not far left enough for the neo-Marxists.
The past few election cycles have seen plenty of calls for her to step down to allow someone younger and more aligned with the Democratic voters of today to step up. She has come to be seen, particularly in progressive circles, as a formidable opponent of progressive leaders, candidates, and legislation, oftentimes working against members of her own party who she sees as being too far left. Nancy Pelosi, despite what good she may have once done for her country and party, has very much overstayed her welcome in Congress, sometimes defiantly so. And in so doing, she has seen her platform of corporate apologism, personal enrichment, and status quo protectionism fall wildly out of favor with the American people, in my opinion, again, rightfully so. Republicans have never liked her, but now a significant portion of Democratic voters also do not like her. Currently, Nancy Pelosi is 85 years old, so when she had previously announced that she would be running for re-election again in 2026, personally, I was appalled. It takes a lot to surprise me these days, and I wouldn't quite say that I was surprised to hear it, but I was appalled. Can one be not surprised and appalled at the same time? I'm not sure, but it was just such a silly moment for the American gerontocracy. But following election night, after Nancy helped her state pass Prop 50, she announced that she would no longer be seeking another term in office. She will be retiring once her current term is up. So then the question is, who is going to fill that gap? Enter Saikat Chakrabarti. He is a 39-year-old millionaire. He made his money at a very young age working for Stripe in Silicon Valley, and now he is running a progressive political campaign for Pelosi's seat in Congress. And yes, as a part of his progressive platform, he is campaigning for higher taxes on the wealthy, which would include himself.
When I talk about the policies I'm running on, yeah, a lot of it aligns with socialism in the country. I'm talking about universal health care, tuition-free public college. I call for public power in San Francisco. I call for building millions of units of affordable housing and having a stronger state capacity. I'm an FDR Democrat.
He was originally running to primary Pelosi, but it seems he won't have to do that anymore. However, there are others in the field that he will be up against. Of course, this race is still a year away, and a lot can and will happen between now and then. But Saikat, while he has never held political office, he is no stranger to politics. And side note, I don't think that a lack of experience in politics should necessarily bar someone from being elected to a higher position. Trump was not a politician, but we made him president. Then again, maybe that's not the best example. But Congress specifically was supposed to be full of lay people who came from various and diverse communities across the country. It was literally supposed to be representative of the American people. Having career politicians in office the way we do now is actually a problem, but people love to vote for incumbents, name recognition, the devil you know, etc. All of that can go a very long way in politics, apparently. Anyway, Saikat left Silicon Valley after making his money and started working with the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign in 2016 2015. Once Bernie was out of the race, Saikat went on to become one of the founding members of Justice Democrats, along with TYT's own Cenk Uygur and a few others. His Silicon Valley background came in handy there because he actually wrote some software that helped progressives organize more effectively and more efficiently. So as you might know, Justice Democrats was instrumental in getting Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez elected to Congress, and once she did win her race, Saikat became AOC's chief of staff for a few years. He now spends his time working with the think tank New Consensus. So you could say he has no direct involvement in government, but he has a heck of a lot more involvement in government than most people. Apart from all of that, he has helped to write the Green New Deal, something that AOC, along with Senator Ed Markey, have become champions of. He has been outspoken on immigration reform, and he has argued for the abolition of ICE. And earlier this year, he announced that he's running to represent the 11th Congressional District of California, challenging the formidable incumbent for her seat. So I mentioned that Saikat is an old colleague of Cenk's. So here he was just recently speaking with Cenk on TYT. I think this was from a couple of weeks ago. Cenk asked him why he was running to primary Nancy Pelosi. But of course, this interview was from before she dropped out of the race.
Nancy Pelosi is part of an old guard that believes we just need to reform the existing system a little bit. We can just continue ignoring the huge issues that have been piling up for decades when it comes to things like the skyrocketing costs of healthcare, of housing, of childcare, of education. And what I'm saying is, no, we actually have to solve those problems at a structural level. It won't be enough to just reform the ACA a little bit. We need Medicare for all. It won't be enough to just do some childcare subsidies. We need universal childcare. We have to tackle this fundamental problem of people's wages being stagnant for decades while the cost of the essentials have just been skyrocketing. That is why we have Donald Trump in the White House. I think that's why people voted for Barack Obama in 2008. People have been voting for anybody that's pitching bold, sweeping change any chance they get, and they're open to what the change looks like, but they just know the status quo is not cutting it. So at the end of the day, Nancy Pelosi is a candidate that's fighting to keep an old and I believe broken status quo intact. And I'm pitching the actual vision and the ideas that we need to solve these problems, to really solve these problems. I think it's a very pragmatic approach.
There are other Democrats in the race for the seat, including Scott Wiener, who is the more establishment Dem, poised to fill Pelosi's establishment shoes. But if Saikat knows anything, it's how to, without sounding too cheesy, think differently about politics. He has a tech background that has already informed so much of his worldview. He's willing to, as a millionaire, pay higher taxes, and he's already won a massive election with AOC, and he's helped shape legislation. This is definitely a race to watch. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks. Hey, it's Yasmin Aliyah Khan. Thank you so much for watching. If you're into what we're doing here, please hit that like button. It really, really helps. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Rebel HQ and hit that bell so that you never miss an upload. I've also got a playlist with all of my videos, so feel free to dive in and catch up there. And if you're over like the corporate spin and just want real people-powered news, hit that join button and be part of the movement. We couldn't do it without your support. Seriously, thank you so much. Stay informed, stay engaged, and I will see you in the next one.